I recently finished grad school and I'm on a solo journey to travel the United States. In my previous episode, I talked about why this dream of mine is important to me and shared my plans or the vision for the road trip. Now I'm headed to the first destination, to Austin, Texas. Austin is roughly 15.5-hour drive approximating 1,000 miles away from my home, and here's what day one looked like. The first day, I drove for 12 hours. I made one stop, that was for lunch break, and I just drove. And the plan that night was to stop at a rest area at the Louisiana and Texas border. It was in a town called Vinton, Louisiana. So I got to the place after 12 hours of driving from Gainesville, Florida, and essentially I ate my pizza, parked at a rest area, and now gonna have some pizza over the water. Not so bad. Ate it in peace. I was glad to be at the border, essentially in Texas. And I was tired, so I'm like, you know what, it's time to just pass out, go to sleep. So I went to bed around 8:30, 9 o'clock p.m. and slept pretty well in my car. Then what happened was I kept turning and I kind of woke up at 12 and I was like, oh my god. I thought it was 6 in the morning, but it was only 12. What are you doing, Smith? So I then go back to sleep, wake up at 2 again, at 3, and at 3 I just realized, you know what? It's 3:30 a.m. right now, and I had my first night in the rest stop. I guess I had a good night of sleep and I felt restful, so I just woke up and gonna make my way to Austin now. Guess what? The Bird biscuits in Austin sounds real good for breakfast. And Austin is only 4 hours from me. So basically at 4 o'clock, I just drove. I started driving. Welcome to Austin, baby! Woo! Touchdown in Austin, and it's super early in the morning, and so I have to get some Bird biscuits. And then after that, I went and got Granny's tacos. Got the red sauce chilaquile tacos, and that was amazing too. Had 3 of those. And then after that, I'm like kind of just settling in. I'm like, oh wow, I'm in Austin, amazing. Kind of felt really heavy, so I basically was planning to go to Planet Fitness to go get shower, because I hadn't showered in like almost a day, right? So on my way, I saw this park, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just go walk it out real quick. Welcome to the Austin, Colorado River Walk. Magic of Austin, Texas. After that, I go and shower. I'm like, oh wow, this is an amazing experience. Went and showered. And from there, I went to South Congress to just hang out at a coffee shop. I got lunch there and some exposure to the city life. I also found some live music spotted by just hearing the music. You hear that? You hear that? When in Austin, there's always live music playing. Sounds beautiful. After that, essentially at 5 o'clock, 5:30, I went looking for my dinner plans. So I went to this place called Ramen Tatsuya and got some curry ramen, and I had parked my car in the parking lot. And after eating the dinner, I was just like kind of drowsy. And in retrospect, I think I was cranky for not having enough sleep, or it was time for me to go to bed, right? Because I had woken up at 3:30. Real quick, if you made it this far, thank you. I just wanted to give you a little heads up because things got a little rough for me, and so I don't have a lot of footage. It was really challenging for me, and I just wanted to prep you for what you're about to see. Again, I apologize for not having these beautiful cinematic footage for you, but this is really this was me journaling on the experience that I had. Back to the footage. Alright, Smith. Talk. What happened? Talk. And essentially I go in the car to make some room for myself, and my parking was good, even though I was only supposed to be there during while I'm at the restaurant. I was like, I think if I take an hour or hour and a half nap, that's gonna be fine. So I move all my stuff from the car from the trunk and the back seat to the front area so that I can actually sit. But it was so hot, and I just really started feeling my chest getting really heavy, and I was having short breath. And again, in retrospect, I think that was a panic attack. I was panicking like crazy. Like, what are you doing, Smith? This is not normal. Where is your home? That's basically around the same time where I get a text message from my partner Priya, and I FaceTime her, and I'm like, I literally sit on the side of the street and I just start bawling. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. This is really hard. I don't have a place to sleep tonight, and I'm not sure if I can do this for the next 30 days. I want to essentially do this for the next 30 days. And my mind was just racing. Because I was still in a panic state, I essentially was like, I can't do this. There's no way I'm gonna just sleep in my car tonight. And so gracefully, I had the option to book a hotel and just went there. That I prioritized just going there. I'm like, maybe, I need to just go and sleep on this, and we'll see how it goes. So checked in the hotel. I go in the room. It's like, nice temperature, etc., etc. I get in the bed, and boom, there was another round of a panic attack. I really felt like I couldn't breathe inside the room. I felt claustrophobic. I felt trapped inside. And really, I don't think it had to do with the room. I think it was in my mind. I was just like, this is such a change of pace for my mind. I'm 12, 18 hours away from my home. What am I doing? And this is only day 2 of the trip. What is happening? In retrospect, and when I'm able to logically think about what I had gone through, is that my mind was in a panic mode, and my mind was taking over me, like Smith, right? So I kind of think of my mind as like a different entity. Like I am me, and then my mind is inside of me, right? But at the time, my mind had overcome me, and it was literally presenting me with all the trauma, as well as my mind knows me the best, right? And so it saw me at a vulnerable spot, and it basically presented me with this uncomfortable picture that I would likely face during the next 30 days of my solo trip. And eventually I was able to go to sleep, and then I woke up the next morning, and I still was kind of sore from what I had gone through, really. So physically I felt anxiety, like right where I think my stomach is, right in this area, which is just all heavy, really, really heavy. It felt like either there was a minor anxiety still present there, or it felt like maybe it was sore. It's like you go to the gym, you work out your biceps, and the next day they're sore because the muscles have been all stretched out. Yep. So the next day, I thought I had a camping reservation, but it turns out that I had started my entire trip a day early. So I really had nowhere to sleep again. When I learned this, I freaked out again. But I then realized that maybe this was universe's way of sending me on a quest, right? And to let go of my controlling nature. I was eventually able to find a camping site. I was able to make the reservation. I made camp. I hung out at the camping site. I ate. And I journaled. Let me read some of the things that I actually wrote down in my journal. Give me 1 second. Okay, so here's what I wrote down in my journal. I said, death is absolute terror. Detachment feels like absolute terror. I am sick to my stomach being or feeling alone. Sitting with myself, just myself, feels terrorizing, like death. That's the first thing that came to my mind. And that is so dark and it is so extreme, but my thoughts and my feelings were that extreme. And as I was journaling, I kind of drew out this map, right? So then there's this comfort zone that's here. This is like what I have, what I know. This is telling me, go back to Gainesville. The trip, you're not cut out for this. You don't need to do this. This is where all the attachment that I have with my nucleus. This other side is the unknown. This is the darkness. This is possibly also where bliss is, right? This is probably where beautiful places, beautiful experiences could be. This is also where the option of go forward with my trip is and not going back to Gainesville. This is a danger zone for my mind, right? So my mind as a different entity, this is a danger zone for this. On this side, this is a danger zone for myself. In the middle, this part right here is literally a war zone between my mind and me. This is where I am sore through anxiety, physically feeling that way. This is where I went through the inner conflict within myself. Hi, buddy. Quick note, real quick. Hi, buddy. How's it going? I ended up enjoying the next day by being at the riverside campground that I had. I went to the city and I drove around and just did things that I really enjoyed doing. And then eventually I ended up going to sleep. The next day, on day 5, I'm still in Austin. I have reservations for tonight and tomorrow night, but I decided, and there's some change of plans, I decided that it is not best for me to continue on this journey the way I originally intended on doing, especially in this car. And so I'm gonna head back to Gainesville today. I'm gonna get some breakfast in Austin and then make my way to Gainesville. I'm gonna continue on this journey, but it's gonna look differently than I originally intended. I won't be in this car, it'll look different. And so I'll see you in New Mexico. I just got here last night and currently we are on our way to Oleato Monument Valley.